Yo, hold on. What is the deal, everybody? What is the deal? Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your midway talent. Hold on. We got to change something real quick. Once again, the camera orientation is effed up. The F is going on with this damn StreamYard. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. Shout out to salutation to everybody in the chat. Yeah, I got my coffee, bro. I'm just pissed off, man. You know, I had my live set up, had the camera right, and it went back to some crazy setting. I hate this. You know what I mean? It makes the live look crazy. I can't stand it. You know, but it is what it is, y'all. It is what the F it is till it ain't, right? But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Before we get started cooking, man, we got to talk about BetUS, y'all. Got to pay a few bills here. 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits, up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. I want to let you guys know that this stream is powered by BetUS. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to everybody, the over 120 of y'all in here, man. Shout out to everybody. Let me give my shout out to salutations to everybody. Can't Get Right is in a place. My guy, Patrick B is in a place, man. Adam Sweeney is in a place. Raiders. Listen, guys, I know this is the bye week. I know there's not a whole lot going on. But in the same token, there is a lot going on. So what we're going to do today, because I know all of you guys are sick puppies just like me. You want to get your Raider news every day. I am here for you. I will not leave you guys without your Raider fix. We're going to talk about Scott Turner. I know some of you are interested in the fact that, you know, we brought this relatively unknown commodity to us. I mean, and he's got a pretty extensive coaching career. It's the son of Norv Turner. We brought him in. He's been here, but he's been promoted to be our offensive coordinator right now. What does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and now all of a sudden, you know, the Raiders are just going to start a new playbook and they're going to run all this new stuff? That's not what's going to happen, guys. That is not what's going to happen. You know, really, mostly what's going to happen is Scott Turner is going to take what's already been here with Luke Getsy and apply it in a different manner. He's going to take that playbook and he's going to call those plays differently. Another thing that we're going to see is we're going to see Joe Philbin move and be our offensive line coach. Now, it's weird that we didn't have an assistant offensive line coach, which was just very, very strange to me. You know, it was strange to me that, you know, James Cregg and all these guys had never actually served in that capacity, and this was their first gig. And I was thinking, you know, with an inexperienced head coach, that's not the move you kind of want to make with a position that is that important. Like a lot of people say, when you're a head coach, you know, if you're a head coach, you make sure that after you pay your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator, the next most important spot is to allot money to make sure you have a hell of an offensive line coach. I mean, offensive line coach is almost commiserate with being a coordinator. That's how important it is. Hugely, hugely important, man. Hugely important, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The way that the Raiders have gone about things, it is concerning. Now, do I think a whole lot's going to change? No. But what we're looking for at this point in the season, and I've been saying this for the last few days, we're looking at the future. We're looking at, hey, how does Cameron Richardson look, right? On the defensive side of the ball. Hey, how does Desmond Ridder look? Is he a guy that we can maybe keep in the building and develop next year? Maybe if we go quarterback early, maybe he could be a guy who could start a few games and we could let our young quarterback sit there and kind of learn. Look, there's a lot of different things that we're here to look at. We looking at Jackson Powers Johnson in real time being the center of the future. Looking at Jordan Meredith, his maturation. We get to further evaluate there Mumford after he was obliterated. Oh my God. It was frightening seeing the way that man got ran over, man. When I saw that, man, I just was like, God! Wow! Happy like this guy. He got totally steamrolled. Unbelievable. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let me get my shout outs and salutations, man, before I get on my soapbox. The flying wonderful Yvette Niles is in a place to be, New York's very own. Resplendent Raider. It starts and ends with Mark Davis. It's not rocket science. Well, bro, look, man. Football is a very nuanced concept, bro. Like it doesn't just begin and end with just Mark Davis, bro. I don't view it from that prism, my brother. It's a lot, bro. It's more than just Mark Davis, bro. It's more than Mark Davis, and it's more than Antonio Pierce, bro. I think where you're absolutely right is that it begins at the top. So there's always a collateral damage to bad decision making at the top of the organization, right? But at this point, I personally I don't want to put everything in Mark Davis's lap right now. Let's narrow our focus here, nation. Let's narrow our focus and let's talk about the things we can control, right? So one of the things we can control, and I'm gonna be 100% real with you. One of the things we can control is how knowledgeable we are with this situation, man. This Scott Turner situation. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for us? I'm going to be honest with you. What does that mean for us as Raider Nation? What does that mean, right? What it means is we have a guy, and we're going to get into this right now. We have a guy that has some experience. It's a little weird to me that they went outside the building and got a Luke Getsy. There's just something about that just feels like Devontae Adams has his disgusting paw prints all over. So let's get into the history of Scott Turner, man. We all know this is Norv Turner's son. He was previously the quarterbacks coach at the Carolina Panthers between 2018 and 2019. He also took over that role as interim offensive coordinator in 2019. Norv Turner was the offensive coordinator, but he left so that his son could inherit that role. In his inaugural year with the Carolina Panthers, the offense is ranked 10th in the National Football League in net yards a game at 373 yards a game. It's the second highest seasonal average in the team's history. And from 2014 to 2016, Scott Turner, we're gonna go back. Scott Turner served as a quarterback coach for the Minnesota Vikings, which his father was also over there. And in 2013, as a wide receiver coach for the Cleveland Browns. Fast forward in 2020, in his first season as offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, his offense scored 20.9 points a game. They were 25th in the league. And in 2021, the Washington offense scored 19.7 points a game, tied for 23rd. 2022, the Washington offense scored 18.9 a game, tied for 24th, right? So to be honest with you, he's up there, Let me be real with you, man. He's well-traveled. He has a very, very extensive resume. He's a guy who grew up in football, right? And this year's Raiders offense has averaged barely 18 points a game, which is like 26th in the league, man. And, they obviously want to make some changes. I think Scott Turner has had a lot less to work with in other scenarios. Now, when you talk about his time with the Carolina Panthers, he had Christian McCaffrey, He had Cam Newton. So there that is. But we talk about his time in Washington, you know, they had some talent, but they were kind of in a very similar situation to us. And when you start talking about what that means for this Raider team, man, I think Scott Turner, I think that Antonio Pierce and everybody in the building now really, really trying to save face and save jobs right now, man. And it is crazy, man. My guy Anthony Cabrera, my dog, he goes, this season has made me sick this far, but I'm always going to pay my bar tab. Raiders, shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Appreciate y'all for not leaving me alone, man. Getsy drew up good plays. However, the most important job of an OC is knowing when to dial up the correct play. And this is where I think that Scott Turner is going to add some value to the Raiders locker room, and he's going to add some value to the Raiders offense. Now, I think Scott Turner, and one of the reasons why he was picked for this job is because of his experience and the fact that he was an integral piece in drawing up a lot of the scripted stuff that the Raiders were doing. So, now we're in a situation where we're in between a bye week. The Raiders have a week to prepare for the Miami Dolphins. The crazy thing is, and this is something that was a little alarming to me, that Antonio Pierce gave the team a week off when, in all intents and purposes of the word, it looks like they're going to have another quarterback start. I don't understand why they're not out there getting this thing together, man. I mean, but, look, is this much to do about nothing? Quite possibly, right? But it gives me hope that the product on the field will look a little better. Like for me, it's not about wins and losses at this point, because we haven't been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But, we have a chance, but the chance is slim and none for us to make a playoff run. So at this point, for me, it's more so about evaluating young players and looking at what exactly the Raiders have to kind of build off of. I mean, I am very, very, dependent on the future to keep myself sane. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. My guy, Super Mario Cron. It starts and ends with Mark Davis until the next idiot owner y'all think is changing everything. Shaking my damn head. Now, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to lay off of Mark, because Mark is not a football guy, and we're not going to turn this into a Mark Davis situation here. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that today, man. Plethora Black. If I remember, AP gave the team a week off last year, but the team was performing much better than they are now. And that's the thing. I think that, Antonio Pierce is doing himself a disservice, man, because this team is playing terrible. The team is playing terrible. The product on the field looks bad. They're not losing close games. And it reflects in everything that's happening in the nation. It reflects in everything that's happening. Like even tonight, right? When I came on, I said, man, listen, I feel like talking some Raider ball. I saw some stuff in the media. I heard a few things that excited me to talk about ball. And then I come in here and it's almost like I'm like, man, everybody is not like, they have sucked the air out of the building. Pause if necessary, man. It's terrible. But most of the reason why I decided to do this show tonight is because, listen, I want to talk about the future. I want to make sure that we have some hope. We got something to think about. We got something to build off of. We got something to look forward to, man. And I wanted to address the lack of movement during the trade deadline. I want to talk to you guys about Joe Philbin and Scott Turner, man. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about, and we're going to get into that, the other quarterback prospects other than Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. We're definitely going to get into that at the end of the show, y'all. But let me get into this, man. Now, when you start talking about Joe Philbin, man, Joe Philbin is a guy who is going to take over this offensive line. That, an offensive line has had his moments and his struggle. But the thing with Joe Philbin is he's been a guy who's kind of made his bones in the National Football League being an offensive line coach. He's a former head coach, right? And, like Tom Cable and guys like that, Philbin is cut from that, Joe Gibbs and that Alice Gig cloth, right? Where zone is king. And, you got to see a lot during Philbin's parents with Mike McCarthy. They ran a zone blocking scheme. You got to see it with the Dallas Cowboys. And, when you come from that tree, that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan tree, serving as an assistant line coach and stuff like that, I think it's the way some of these things have been applied. Now, James Cregg also came from that Kyle Shanahan. I mean, and I'm not saying Joe Philbin came from the Kyle Shanahan tree, but he came from the zone blocking tree. And, James Cregg came from that tree, and for whatever reason, we have not had success. Now, I don't think it's a personnel issue, man. I think it's a scheming issue. And I'm going to be honest with you. A guy like Joe Philbin is an old school coach, hard-nosed coach. He's a guy that's known to kind of stress fundamentals, focus on, diving into the scheme. Maybe like some of the Raiders offensive linemen probably need to go back to some of the fundamentals, man. And it's crazy, man. We got all this old school flavor in the building, and it just seems like we're rudderless. Todd McPhee, you and me said it last year. Need a QB. Just push the problem ahead this year. Get the pick, make a good pick, get a coach that can make them great. Big problem solved. And that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. And I think we need to focus on some of these other quarterbacks because I don't like zeroing in on one quarterback. Because I think no matter what happens this year, I'm going to be I am going to be to be honest with you, I'm going to be pissed if the Raiders don't draft a damn quarterback this year. There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. Said, Wasted, your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders as head coach? I am for having Shedeur Sanders being our next quarterback, but having Deion Sanders, another novice coach, come in here and coach us is something that I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in that. I love Deion as a player and stuff. He's a college football coach. I am totally against bringing him here as a head coach. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. We have way too many voices on the team. But see, Caps, that's not the problem, right? I think the problem with the Raiders, and I think people say that we have way too many voices on the team. And from what I've heard from behind the scenes, these assistant coaches are coaching their ass off, man. The Rob Ryans of the world, the Marvin Lewis of the world, they're coaching their ass off. And they are not in Antonio Pierce's ear where he's not making these decisions, man. It is Antonio Pierce and his quality control coach. And that's really what's going on. This is Antonio Pierce, man. Now, every team has a lot of coaches and they all have jobs to do. I think what we don't have is we don't have enough innovation in the building. We don't have enough new football in the building. It is good to have these older coaches give these guys a solid foundation, right? But I think the one thing that's lacking from the Raider building is innovation, man. I'll be honest with you. Who is your number one option for head coach if it's Ben Johnson? He's a newbie as well. Look, I would want Ben Johnson, right? He's my number one guy. Do I think Ben Johnson is going to wind up here with the Raiders? Nah, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that it's looking like the Chicago job is going to open up. And if I'm being honest, Ben Johnson might want to just go over there and run it with Caleb Williams. That might be a situation he might look into. I mean, maybe he loves one of these guys that are coming out this year and the Raiders, offer him the best path to being successful early as a head coach. So I don't count the Raiders out, but Ben Johnson's a guy that, Tom Brady was effusive of praise of Ben Johnson. And I think Brady is going to serve in that purpose to kind of be like a sounding board for our owner, Mark Davis. So I can see that happening, man. My guy, Anthony Cabrera. This might be tinfoil hat vibes, but the organization, in my opinion, is just glazing over this season, which unfortunately is necessary to get where they want to go. I mean, look, gentleman's tank job. Now, I don't necessarily think that the Raiders are saying, hey, let's lose, right? I think what happened in this whole iteration of the Raiders is that you have, and I spoke about this yesterday on the show with Graphic, right? You have a situation where you have two people who are in this building that have two different timelines. You have an Antonio Pierce who was here before Tom Telesco. Him and Champ Kelly were working together. It looked like that was going to be the dynamic duo. That's what it looked like. And when they brought in Tom Telesco, what that shows me is you have that guy that Mark hired that he has autonomy. He is a GM, and he's on his own timetable. And he didn't hire Antonio Pierce. He didn't hire him. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know whether he went into this season and said, "Oh, we're gonna tank," but I think he said, "Yo, I'm gonna build the best roster I can under the circumstances. I'm gonna serve the future of the Raiders as opposed to this next year. And if I don't have to reach in the draft for a quarterback that I really wasn't sold on, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take the best player available. And guess what? I'm gonna go into this year with a quarterback that last year had some success." And then I'm gonna hedge my bet by bringing in one of the backups in the National Football League who has been effective at that backup position. And if Aiden isn't the guy, and if we're bad, then so be it. Then we go get our guy the next year. And I think Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce are on two different sheets of music, because Antonio Pierce knows he has to coach well to keep his job. He understands that, right? So now you have a situation where Antonio Pierce, and I've noticed this about him, this is a very Johnny-come-lately move, because Antonio Pierce, once he saw this thing was careening off the cliff, he most likely should have fired Luke Getsy earlier than this, if I'm being honest, because this is a guy you didn't want in the damn first place. Let's be honest, Beanie Baby, D. Adams was an effing distraction. He did the Raiders an AP foul, and that's a fact. That, listen, man, you cannot have a player like that in your building, right? Unless you have a top end quarterback, you just can't. A lot of wide receivers are divas, man. They're me guys. And now Devontae Adams was throwing stones all season trying to hide his hands, and now we see him for who he is. Look, he wants to win. This wasn't here for him. F him. I don't want to talk about him. He's not here. I get what you're saying, not zeroing on one or two QBs, but I think we really will be in the position to get the guy we want. But I'm prepared to be disappointed. Peyton Hurdle, I'm not prepared to be disappointed. I don't necessarily think that the guys that we think are the best quarterbacks coming out this year, they might, the team might not feel that way. This is the reason why I want you guys to familiarize yourself with these players, man, because there might be a guy in this draft that everybody thinks is no good, right? Like Nussmeier. Right now, he's not a guy that I think is a number one pick, right? I don't. But he's a guy who's strong arm, strong 6'2", can make every throw. Only reason why he wasn't starting last year is because Jaden Daniels was starting over. I mean, for God's sakes, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like you need to familiarize yourself with these guys. Yo, shout out to my dog Intel in the place, man. Appreciate you, bro, for pulling up as always. My guy Adam Sweeney is in the place, and Enrico Rios is in the place. Adam's out there looking straight crazy in New York. Yeah, he is, man. F him. Wait, hold on. To be fair, AP was allowed to bring in whoever he wanted, and Adam Sweeney. And I think there's a piece of me why, I have been I was a big AP supporter, but this is one of the reasons why I feel like his inexperience has bit the Raiders this year. I feel like his inexperience has bit the Raiders, and the fact that the Raiders didn't make a move and weren't sellers is a little alarming to me, because if Tom Telesco knows that this team is not up to snuff, he's got to get the most draft capital as possible. And I know we got 10 picks in this upcoming draft. I mean, but I want to make sure I hedge my bet so I can move up as fast as I can. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Now, look, let's get into, a little bit about this trade deadline, man. Like there were a lot of teams that, like the Raiders, that didn't make a move. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people have expressed interest in some players on our roster, namely Maxx Crosby. I've heard there's been some interest on Jacoby Meyer. And I'm going to be honest with you. The Raiders, by trading Devontae Adams, I think they kind of got their fill for the blockbuster trade. But, the timing of the way that they're going about their business is something that is a little alarming to me, right? Because, things can come to a head really, really quickly here well, we might need to move up. Now, I don't think the Raiders are at a place where we need to totally burn this thing down and trade every single person. But I think there are a lot of players where they need to keep a little foresight and ask themselves, like, are you going to go for another helping of Jacoby Myers contract? Probably not. Probably not. You know, the only guy, you know, you want to keep Maxx. You know, the Raiders felt compelled to modify Crosby's contract, even though there were 3 years remaining. Crosby had $5 million added to the 3 years left in the contract, resulting in a $6 million raise for him in 2024. And, you know, if Crosby attempts to force a trade, it won't be because the Raiders didn't take care of him financially, man. You know, and he spoke a little bit about the direction of the franchise, and he sounds a little disheartened, and it really, really bothers me. You know, Maxx Crosby said, it sucks to fucking lose 5 straight games. Shit sucks. Got to control what we control. Everybody's got to look in the mirror. That's what Crosby said after the Cincy beatdown. It sounds like he's starting to get frustrated. And I think the Raiders have a really tough road to hoe. A real tough road to hoe going into this offseason, man. After the season, we have a ton of free agents, and that's why I think the Raiders should have been a little more viable, man. So to me, they were definitely losers, man. They were definitely losers in the free agent pool and in the trade deadline, man. And I'm just shocked, and Daniel Caps-Keenan is 100% right. I'm shocked that we didn't get rid of anyone else. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. The one thing about Tom Telesco that worries me is that he just seems like a very, very, very conservative GM. And I think the Raiders need to do things that are a little bit bold to right this ship and turn things around very, very quickly, kind of i.e. what the Texans did a few years ago. Yo, Big 183. I think they did not let AP get the office together, but all the defensive guys he wanted. Bro, I don't think that there's like this crusade against Antonio Pierce, right? I think the thing that Antonio Pierce has against him is the lack of experience, right? And I think another thing that Antonio Pierce has against him is the simple fact that, we've been bitten and snake bitten by the injury bug like crazy. And I think that they overpromised and underdelivered when it came to the quarterback position. Point blank, period. You know, and that's another thing. And when we start talking about these young quarterbacks, and we can get into it, Herbert was considered a bad pick for some people. A lot of people didn't like Justin Herbert. You have to be able to, and Tom Telesco is the man who drafted Justin Herbert. You have to be able to sift through what works for you as an organization. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Get Waste with your brother, Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We got over 400 in the room. Golly, man. On a day like this, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Who else want to get any draft? Want to get any draft for except for Maxx? I've listened to your opinions for 2 years, and you've been wrong on almost every one of them. Wait. So let me ask you a question, bro. You tell me what I've been wrong on Blue Cheese Entertainment. Who else we gonna get for any draft picks except for Maxx? Well, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jacoby Myers. Hey guys, let me ask y'all in the chat. What have I been wrong about over the last 2 years? I mean, there's a whole lot of y'all in here that come in here every day, man. I'm right about a whole lot. I'm right about a lot more than I'm wrong about. Listen, Blue Cheese Entertainment, bro. Respectfully, bro. The AP thing, I was wrong about that. I ain't gonna lie. Right? Do I give you and I'm not gonna explain what I do here every day, right? But Blue Cheese Entertainment, I can listen to this. I can listen to the sound of me going to my block button and getting you the F out of here with your effing disrespect, you effing bum. So let me tell you something, Blue Cheese. The wackest name I ever effing heard. You got a problem with my opinions? You can get the F out of here, Blue Cheese. You effing bum. You want to get unceremoniously blocked? The Blue Cheese in it. The F is wrong with you. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Listen, I have to stop. I've been indiscriminately blocking people all week. And blue cheese, I am not with the bull crap. Effing blue cheese. We only like ranch over here, you effing bum. We only like ranch over here. Appreciate you, Jack. The Queen City's very own. Do no damn blue cheese up in here, you effing bum. Listen, if we're going to use anything on our buffalo wings, it'll be ranch and ranch only, you blue cheese eating bum. My guy, Indiana Raider, with the $10 holler, man. Appreciate you. Wasted. Tommy T playing it smart, not extending any of our future free agents because how terrible this year has been. Yeah, I think he is playing it smart. We got to look at some of these other guys. We got to look at some of these guys, right? You can't run everybody out of here. But guys like Trayvon Merrick and guys like that, it's tough, man, because with Merrick, bro, he hasn't really broken out for us in the way we would have liked. But he's the kind of guy that I can see going somewhere, bro, and taking off. I don't think Merrick does well in this Patrick Graham defense. I mean, Tommy T already, we got massive cap space, but Matt Barraquah, and I feel you, man. I feel you. We have massive cap space, but it's not just about cap space for me. It's about ammunition to move up if need be. I'm going to be honest with you. Wayne said, you wrong about Crosby too, man. This dude been tired of losing. Not look, bro, and you right. I know Max wants to win, bro, but I think that I feel like the tone that I'm hearing from Max now is he's very dejected. Normally, Max is always positive. You feel like he feels like he can right the ship. What I'm hearing from Maxx Crosby is more despair, and it's very, very troublesome. And I hope that the organization can wrap their arms around Max and keep him here. And to be honest with you, I hope the organization doesn't fail this guy because he's given this organization everything. He's given his organization every effing thing. AP's growing pains as a coach have proved to be greater than his team's ability to persevere through adversity. And that's true. And I just don't think being an NFL head coach is something that you can kind of learn on the fly with, man. You have to have I think you have to have more of a knowledge base, man. You do. And I think what the Raiders have tried to do, they've tried to have, these old school flavor around here. They've tried to bring guys like Norv Turner who have had success in this league at certain times, having Marvin Lewis's guys like that around. But the thing that wins in the NFL now is innovation, man. It is innovation, man. And that is the one thing we don't have. That is the one thing we don't have around here, man. But the good thing that I'm liking about what we have going forward is that there's going to be more of a youth movement, man. I want to see the Decameron Richardsons, man. We know the Raiders got an uphill battle this season, man. I want to see Isaiah Powell-Miles step in for freaking Marcus Epps and see how well he does. And he's done it. He's done a hell of a job, man. The Raiders should also be giving Chris Smith a look. The Raiders should be just keep playing the DJ Glazes of the world, the Eckenbergs of the world, the JPJs of the world. Just like that's what I'm looking for this season. So I haven't totally checked out. Said Matt, my guy, Jack Burton. Max need more dogs on the D-line with him, O-line, and the leader of a coach. That's a fact, man. My guy says John Gruden would change anything. Yeah, man. I mean, there are rumors out there, man, that John Gruden is trying to get back into football. I hope whenever he gets back into, it is not here with the Raiders. I have had my fill of John Gruden. I do not want any more John Gruden in this building. I am cool. I really am. I want to do what other organizations do. Go get the young, innovative mind. I'm sick of always trying to go and shop in the bargain bin. I'm tired of the Raiders going in the secondhand store and bringing in a coach. Go out there and get somebody new, man. Tired of this crap. Stephen Harburg, Nation, just got home, bro, from the hospital with my wife and our newborn baby girl yesterday. What have I missed? You've missed nothing. The team is still terrible, bro. But congratulations to Stephen Harburg. Congratulations to you on your baby girl, man. Man, God bless you, bro. Congratulations, man. God bless you and your family, dog. That's dope, man. That is phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal, man. I never, bro. I don't want to look. Congratulations, yo. Everybody, please give my guy Steve Harburg congratulations, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, bro. I don't think I've ever been happier in my entire life than when I had my first daughter. Ever. I didn't even know that level of happiness and joy. I had no idea that level of joy was even possible. I like, for real, man. I never knew that kind of joy was even possible. And now my daughter is almost a grown woman, and my both of my girls are getting older, man. And it's like, damn, where did all of the time go? But bro, enjoy all of it, man. And do me a favor, bro. Make sure, even if you get annoyed, stuff like that, keep your kids around their family. You know what I mean? Because, like, for me, I've been very blessed. My mother and father-in-law live a town over from me. And my in-laws, my kids were little, and my wife and I used to, when I was younger, man, I was working all the time, working doubles and weekends and all this stuff just to keep everything. And when we were buying houses and we were trying to move and groove and get to where we were trying to be. Let me tell you something, man. Keep your kids around the family. You know what I mean? And take as many pictures and videos as possible, bro. Hey, Paul Edgerton, you got to chill with that granddaddy shit. Hell no. No granddaddy ways. My guy Graphic is in the place. But, yo, congratulations, bro. My brother Intel, man. Enjoy it all. I miss so much being deployed almost her entire life. You can't make up for lost time, bro. You can't, bro. You can't, man. You can't. Hey, Steve, man, let me know where I can send you some Raider stuff for the baby, man. You let me know, bro. I gotta send you some bibs and to make sure we keep the nation going, bro. We bring these young kids up right, man. My guy Graph is in a place to be, man. Shout out to Graph. And Intel is absolutely right, man. Enjoy it all, man. Enjoy it all, man. But bro, listen, if I can give you anything, we're gonna get back into the football, right? Let's get back into the ball, man. So, yo, the way I'm approaching this offseason now, right? Because we got a youth movement coming up, right? We got a youth movement, man. We have a bad record beyond the midway point. And it's kind of a blessing in disguise, man, because the Raiders are in a situation where they can really, really farm out who they're going to keep and who they're not. I'm going to go up and down the roster a little later, and we're going to go. I'm going to ask y'all, man, who do we keep? Who do we get rid of? I want you guys to know. I want to make this a little more interactive, right? I'm going to make this a little more interactive right now. My guy, two starts. John Gruden had his team 4-1 before he was unceremoniously blocked by the woke movement. Bro, John Gruden started out well a lot of the times, right? But the thing for me is that I don't think the team that was 4-1 had sustainable success written all over it. I can't view these seasons in a vacuum, bro. Like, when you look at people's rosters around the league, you could tell a roster that is freaking, really, really set up to win. You could tell. You could tell. And that is not something that I saw ever with the Gruden Raiders, man. Not to keep going back, but and listen, at this point, we're over that. We're beyond that. He wants to get back into coaching from what we've heard. And, God bless him. Let's just hope it's not here with the Raiders. I'm thinking that a prime place for Gruden to go is probably the Saints now that they fired, Dennis Allen, bro. So, guys, you know what I'm going to do? My guy, Josh, 5150. Wasted, how would you feel if Shador and Dion was a package deal? I wouldn't feel so confident about the Shador pick. I would probably pick Cameron Ward because I don't think that I would want Deion Sanders being the head coach of this team. You need somebody with a little more chops to be the head coach of this team, bro. I'm sorry. There's no transfer portal in the NFL, bro. I'm cool on Deion being the head coach here. I'm gonna be honest with you. But guys, look, I'm gonna go over the 2024 roster, right? We're gonna pull it up. We're gonna pull the 2024 Raiders roster up, and let's go through, some of these guys that you think we're gonna keep, man. I'm trying to go on Spot Track so I can see everybody's contract, right? So we're gonna go on Spot Track, man. We're gonna pull up the cap table for the Raiders team. We got it up now. Hold on, let me share my screen. Shout out to everybody in chat. Shout out to the almost 500 people in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted. And hey, Jack. And Jack's right too. Prime already said he wants no parts of the National Football League, but things change all the time, though, Jack. You know what I'm saying? So nothing would surprise me, bro. But a lot of people are bringing that up. I would stay away from that pairing. I just want Shador by himself here in the Raiders being able to flourish, right? So of course, it goes without saying, you have Maxx Crosby here. You're gonna definitely keep Max, right? I mean, why would you not? I mean, he's the cornerstone of this franchise. He's the highest paid player, and as he should be, right? Right. You have Colton Miller. Now, this is a guy that I'm going to be honest with you. He's only 29 years old, but he seems like an old 29, if that even makes any sense, right? So he's a base salary of $12 million. Dead cap money, 6.7, not too bad. That's a guy that I might have tried to move on from. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. But we're gonna get past it now. Gardner Minshew's gone after this year. Andre James, $13 million dead cap hit. He's a guy that I would try to trade. Andre James, a guy I got to move on from. Tyree Wilson, just by virtue of the fact of how high he was taken, you got to try to hold on to Tyree Wilson. Spill, you definitely want to hold on to Spill. Definitely want to hold on to Daniel Carlson. Trayvon Merrick. Let me ask the chat, man, what do you guys think about Merrick? This is this contract year. Is Trayvon Merrick a guy that you would try to hold on to in the future? So, Ernest, you say move Colton? Colton, bye-bye Colton and Andre James. I feel the same way, man. Wait, Palmalo and Bennett is the future moving forward. Morgan Epps cut ties with them. Yo, Leaky, I'm going to be honest with you. I totally agree, bro. Two stack. So we got a dissenting viewpoint here, man. I understand what Two Stock is saying here too, man. He says we're moving off of Miller after one bad year where he was rushed back to help out the team. Ridiculous. Now, see, this is the thing about that. This is not one bad year. He kind of was bad last year. He got hurt last year. I just look, man. For me, if I'm the Raiders, I bring in a new quarterback. I want to make sure I have somebody that's healthy. I don't think Colton Miller's ever going to be healthy again. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Yeah, I think he's lost a step, bro, if I'm being honest. If they continue playing his box safeties and they continue to utilize him on safety blitz, then yes, give him a 2-3 year deal. So y'all keeping Merrick? Y'all keeping Merrick? Now, see, Two Stocks. He goes, it depends on the numbers. How much does Merrick think he's worth? There's not a guaranteed better safety that wants to come to Las Vegas. I think, man, we have some young guys on this roster, man, that you could possibly feature. You got Trey Taylor, man. You have Isaiah Palmer. You got Chris Smith. I mean, if I'm being honest, based off of what I've gotten from Trayvon Merrick, I'd probably move on from him, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. My guy, Noah Harden with the $5 holler, man. Wasted. Is coupon time the long-term answer for us at GM? Or does he leave when AP leaves? Salute, my brother. No, they're not connected together. Their jobs are not mutually exclusive. I think coupon time will be here for the foreseeable future. if he can do a good job, because the only thing I can really judge him on is how he's drafted, and it's looking like he's done a pretty damn good job. I'll be honest with you, man. So let's get back to this let's get back to this roster, right? So Spillane's a guy, he's a keeper. Merring, you guys are saying we're moving on. AJ Cole, all-pro keeper, of course. Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is interesting, guys. So is Nate Hobbs a guy that you guys are willing to give a big contract to? Because he's in a contract year. Nate Hobbs and Divine Diablo. Now, Divine Diablo is a guy that I'd probably cut ties with. I'd cut ties with him, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Brock Bowers, of course, needless to say, he's the future of this organization. Harrison Bryant. I'm keeping Harrison Bryant. Man. John Jenkins, goodbye. Cody Whitehair, goodbye. Andrews Pete, goodbye. Alexander Madison, goodbye. Adam Butler, I'm keeping. Keeping it. I like Adam Butler, man. He's a hard worker. He's a great depth piece. Amir Abdullah, goodbye. Jackson Powers Johnson, foundational piece. Dylan Parham, I bring him back, but I don't bring him back as a starter. He will be relegated to depth unless he can earn that job. Trey Tucker is another guy you got to keep. Zamir White, I'm going to be honest with you. Zamir White doesn't show me much more. Zamir White would have to go. I can't have him taking up a roster spot. Jacob Bobenmeyer, of course you keep him. He's a long snapper, right? Jacorian Bennett, future of this organization, keep him. Delmar Glaze, keep him. Thayer Bumford, the way he got steamrolled over, if he does not make up for the way he got destroyed this week, run him the F up out of here. My guy, DeCameron Richardson, of course, he's a rookie. You got to keep him. Darnay Holmes, see you later. Jack Jones, this might be an unpopular opinion. Jack Jones, see you. Isaiah Paul-Mile is the guy I'm keeping. Now, Isaiah Paul-Mile is a guy that is a developmental piece, great size. I think reps. I don't think Isaiah Paul-Mile has even played his best football this season yet. I think he is going to continue to get better. He's a cornerstone young piece. J-Rob can go. DJ Turner I'd keep DJ Turner. I like DJ Turner. Chris Smith is a guy I'm keeping. Amari Burney, I'd probably get rid of Amari Burney if I could. Kanal Mayuga, we can go. Jordan Meredith is keeper, baller. He's been balling at guard, man. I think he's a hidden gem. Tommy Eckenberg, definitely hidden gem. You got to keep him. Dylan Lawbay, I'd put him on a first thing smoking out of the building. Get him out of there. Sam Webb, get him out of here. Chasen, I like Chasen, man. I think he's a great guy to develop, man. I'm keeping Chasen. I'm keeping Amari Gaynor. I'm getting rid of Thomas Harper. Janu Lalu. Charles Snowden is a good young pass rusher, but he'd have to come in and fight for his job. I'd bring somebody in and press him for his job. Trey Taylor, of course. Matthew Butler, see you later. Alex Bachman, peace. Desmond Ritter. You know what? He'd be one of the guys that would be in my quarterback room next year. Zach Carter, see you. Justice Shorter, see you. And Ramel Keaton, see you. So it's not too many people that on this roster that I would freaking keep, man. You said they go hold tryouts? Damn. Nah, man. I mean, free agency, baby. The draft. I mean, Eichenberg is not a hidden gem, bro. I mean, he's shown what he can do in college. I think it's a matter of reps. Man, I bet Tommy Eichenberg, man, with the proper amount of reps, can really, 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 ascend to a level where he could be a starter for the Raiders, man. I would bet that 100 times out of 100, man. And if you want to talk about betting, man, going over to Bet US, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. This show has been powered by Bet US. Shout out to Bet US, man. Shout out to Bet US. And that is how you do a read. Wasted. It's going to hold an old school Philadelphia Eagles try. I'm gonna be out there like Dick Vermeil. Get a little Vince Papale action going on here, man. Martin B, I want to see much better tackling next year. It's been appalling so far. Need to watch some damn rugby. And I feel you, bro. I'm going to be honest with you, man. When you start talking about the Raiders, man, you start talking about, I'm sorry, when you start talking about the Raiders, you start talking about what the problem is, man. The biggest problem for me is the fact that I wanted this to be a fundamentally sound football team. And that's what I want to see going forward. That's what I want to see going forward. I'm not really looking for the Raiders to win because I don't think they have enough ammunition in the chamber to really win. They have too many injuries right now, bro. Too many injuries. Wasted. What do you think a Hobbs extension looks like? Well, you know, it's funny, man, because when you start talking about when you start talking about Nate Hobbs, man, he is a guy that has such a interesting. He has such an interesting trajectory as far as you know, what kind of corner he is. Right. So what I would do is, man, I would base the Hobbs extension off of somebody who plays a similar role as him, right? You know, I mean, that's really how I would look at it, right? So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the top players in his position, and I'm going from there, right? So, you know, just for me to contextualize this, right, and get some numbers here, right? Now, the number one contract in the National Football League, as far as from a value perspective, and corner is Denzel Ward. Now, Denzel Ward's number one, 24 years old, 5-year contract, $100 million value, $20 million average salary. Marshawn Lattimore is number two. He was traded to the Washington Commanders. He's a $97 million contract, average salary of $19.5 million. Marlon Humphrey's number three with the Baltimore Ravens. Same, pretty much same contract as Marshawn Lattimore, give or take a few, like $100,000. But the contractual value is 19.5. Trayvon Diggs, same contract. Patrick Surtain, the second, $96 million, $24 million a year. Jair Alexander, $21 million a year. AJ Terrell, $20 million a year. Tyson Campbell for Jacksonville, $19 million a year. L'Jarius Sneed for the Tennessee Titans, $19 million a year. Jalen Johnson just got re-upped this year from the Chicago Bears. To me, I think he's one of the best corners in this league, $19 million a year. Jalen Ramsey, $24 million last year. Is a $72 million contract. It's not as long as everyone else's, but he's a 29-year-old corner. Jamal Dean, $52 million, $13 million a year. Darius Slay, $14 million a year. Charvarius Ward, $13 million a year. James Bradbury, $12 million a year. So I would probably be more in the James Bradbury kind of neighborhood of, you know, a $38 million, $12.6 million deal for Nate Hobbs. I know the Hobbs people might not think, I mean, the highest I would possibly go for a Nate Hobbs contract is $13 million a year. That's the highest I would go because he's not a complete corner. I can't put him on the outside. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Isaiah Randolph. I had no idea that Marshawn Lattimore. They got a lot of bad contracts down there with the Saints, bro. It's crazy, man. But yeah, I'm not going over $13 million a year for Nate. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can go out there and go sign another nickelback, another slot guy. My guy, Mr. Cold Blooded, Mr. Cream Corn himself, the great and powerful. School, what it do, my brother? Speak some more of them facts to me today with those little comic reliefs. We need to change perhaps the Tom Stardust on the road to success. Yeah, bro. Listen, hopefully Tom Brady can bring. It seems like Tom Brady is one of God's favorites, bro. This guy has a contract with the National Football League where he's not supposed to criticize the refs. He did. Nothing happened to him. I mean, I'm glad he's in the building for us. That's one of the things that really concern me about Brady being in an ownership stake because he's very vulnerable to get tampering charges and getting issues with the league. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very concerning to me. So I hope Tom Brady, I'm going to be honest with you. I hope Tom Brady gets through this contract and kind of shakes that shit and focuses more on the Raiders. Mm-mm-mm. No, we did nothing before the deadline, Martin B. We did nothing. They stood pat. I don't think the Raiders look at this as a complete teardown. I think they're trying to keep appearances that they're not trying to tank. I think optics are are big with the Raiders. Optics are big because, we can say as fans, oh, tank, 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 right? But you can't sell out to guys like Maxx Crosby that's busting his ass out there every day for an organization that looks like they're purposefully trying to lose, bro. You know how much of a bad taste that will put in the mouth of the players? So you have to be mindful of some of the moves that you make and make those moves in faith of the Raiders being better in the future. But listen, you can't just go out there and just pour the baby out with the bathwater and just tank. You can't do that. You can't. You will lose everybody in that locker room that you want to keep. You will lose every single one of them, man. My guy, Cammy, half the team is injured. Maybe he's giving them time to heal. Some players can come back pretty healthy, and that's a fact. But 1 week, you got people with major, major injuries right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a guy on this roster where he's having some issues, Michael Mayer, but that's another guy that, look, man, you have to really look into his psyche and see what he has in his heart for how he feels about playing with the Raiders, and that's a guy you might want to consider moving on from too, because of the fact that Brock Bowers is looking like he's one of the very best tight ends in this league. Dolph, we need Tom Brady in the equipment room doing what he can to help our team. What the F are you talking about? Oh, God, what the F is wrong with you, man? Why is anybody talking about getting rid of that bum Graham? Bro, Mark Thomas, listen, wasted talent will tell you right now, and a lot of people will get mad at me. Bro, I think that if you get rid of AP, you should clean this whole thing out. Get everybody out of here. Start fresh. Get him out of here. Patrick Graham has earned nothing here, bro. He's earned nothing. And when you look at Patrick Graham's record as a defensive coordinator, it's been 1 good year and 3 bad years to follow. He's been very, very up and down, bro. Yeah, I mean, Merrick, look, I like Merrick, bro, but I think there's more that I wouldn't, if I had a chance to go out there and get a better center, not center, but a better safety, I would. I'm not married to the idea of keeping, not Shedeur Sanders, but keeping Trayvon Merrick. So, guys, in closing, right, let's get into some other quarterback prospects besides Shedeur Sanders, man. Some guys I've done a little work on, man. Talking about some second round guys. Some second round guys, some lower first round guys, some guys you guys may not really know about. Now, Allard hasn't hurt. I think Drew Allard hasn't hurt his stock in a sense. I think that it's trending towards him returning to college, though. I think that, listen, Drew Allard, 6'5", 243 pounds, 4'7", 40, man. He completed 70% of his passes, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And, injury knocked him out of the Wisconsin game. So I don't think he hurt his stock. He just got hurt, right? It is what it is. He got knocked out. I think Drew Allard is going to be fine. But he's a guy that I think will be in the mix, would be one of the top 3 to 4 guys taking him. Quinn Ewers from Texas, Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. I think those are the guys. I think Cam Ward is a guy, not Cam Ward, but Carson Beck is a guy who really, really, really hurt his stock. He's been completing 66% of his passes. He passed for 2,000 yards so far this season, at 17 touchdowns, 11 picks. But and Beck almost pulled off a great comeback against Alabama. But this is the thing, man. Beck had 3 interceptions and 1 fumble, and his inaccuracy led to Georgia losing to the Crimson Tide. And I think that really, really, he had a horrendous game turning the football over, man. Carson Beck is a guy that, to me, has probably relegated himself to the back of the first round and possibly second round. Jalen Milroe is a guy who has been balling, but he's not, my pick. He's more of an athlete first and quarterback second. He has a great arm. He has a lot of physical tools. He's not a guy that I want to take a flyer on. Now, Quinn Ewers is a guy who got hurt, came back this year. He's been balling. He's thrown for 70% of his passes, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. And, Ewers, I can pronounce his name wrong, but Ewers was stupendous in his role when against Michigan, man. Stupendous, man. The guy is definitely ready for the pros. He's one of the most pro-ready quarterbacks I feel coming out this year, man. Him and Shador are very, very pro-ready. Garrett Nussmeier, man, from LSU, big body, strong arm quarterback, 6'2". He's a kid that I would definitely look at the back of the first round. I'm not taking him at 7. A lot of people have him ranked pretty high. He's at LSU. He's a guy who backed up Jaden Daniels, was not able to supplant the great Jaden Daniels. And, I think he has some talent, but he's not a guy that I'm willing to take a first round pick on. Like if all those, if Ewers is gone, Pilar's gone, Shador and Cam is gone before we pick, then I say you pick another position. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. J.A. dude from LSU looks good at quarterback. He probably would have started last year if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, and that's a fact. I mean, he's a damn good college quarterback, but he's not the kind of guy that I'm gonna take in the first round, man. And listen, Primos, you gotta chill. I mentioned him yesterday, and I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't come here stealing my thunder, you young whippersnapper. You, Curtis Rourke is a guy that definitely I'm keeping an eye on because he's a Mike Shanahan guy. So that would be a situation if you brought in an offensive coordinator that has connection to that Shanahan family tree, i.e. Bobby Slowick. That would be a guy that, say for instance, you won another position in the first round. If you were to do something like that and you went in the second round of Curtis Rourke is there, that is a guy that you definitely will want to take a look at. I like Curtis Rourke. Now, when it comes to Dillon Gabriel, I'm not a Dillon Gabriel guy. Dillon Gabriel's too damn little, man. Dillon Gabriel is 5'11", bro. I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Primos, I am cool, bro. I am, bro. No disrespect to him. I'm cool. Another guy that if you're gonna go second round, if you want to go like heavy potential, is Tyler Van Dyke out of Wisconsin, 6'4", 225, 4.840, classic pocket passer, 63% of his passes. He had a non-contact knee injury against Alabama, and he's gonna be out for the year. But he's a guy that you might want to take a look at second, third round just in case, man. Shout out to East Coast Gridiron, too. That's my dog, man. That's a dog, man. Yeah, DPH Raider. Listen, I would love to take a flyer on Hendon Hooker, too. I don't know if the Detroit Lions are going to let him walk out of the building, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. Yo, Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in this league, man. And I don't think that he gets enough credit, man. That guy is phenomenal, bro. I remember a couple years ago, I used to say, hey, man, I would love if we traded for Jared Goff. People, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, you guys are fucking. Jared Goff is a beast, man. Raider Sound. Jackson Dart is a guy I like Jackson Dart, right? I brought him up a lot, but when I watch more tape on Jackson Dart has an issue with turning the football over. He has a big issue. He's he's tough. He's competitive, but he's very, very reckless with the ball. He's very reckless with the ball. And sometimes, you know what I mean? He has a big interception total, and he has issues with fumbles. And Dart is a guy that he's, to me, a reclamation problem. He's a guy that you don't take high in the first round. I'm sorry. Jackson Dart is a guy that you settle with because you miss your guy, and you take him in the second round and you try to develop. Jackson Dart really reminds me, as far as his archetype, with Derek Carr. He just got more heart than DC. And this is another thing. And Dante, East Coast Gridiron, made me go look at Jackson Dart. He can definitely sling it. He's a good deep ball thrower, but he is not good with, reading coverages and throwing the ball in the middle of the field. He's not good at throwing guys open. He has, great arm talent, but he is a guy that is going to need to be developed. He's not a guy that you could get a keys to the organization to. And that's what we're looking for. Victor Lopez, man. I don't care about any other QB besides Ward and Sanders. All them others aren't moving the needle. We need one of those two if we're ever turning this around. Victor Lopez, bro, that is the opinion of somebody, right, that you have to look at everything from a bird's eye view, brother. You know what I mean? a lot of times in these drafts, you have drafts where like the fifth guy or the fourth guy that was taking the draft winds up being the best quarterback in the draft. And you couldn't have told anybody any different previous to that. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen wasn't considered the best quarterback in his draft. You know what I'm saying, bro? There's a lot of guys in these drafts. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even considered the best quarterback in the draft he was taking it. So you got to take that in consideration, my brother. But it's late round flies, and I get it, man. My guy Nation Zone. Norv Turner ain't the best, but he's a highly experienced OC who can come in and tweak the playbook just enough to get that Getsy stink off during the bye week. Now, Norv Turner is an advisor. He is a guy that has some familiarity with what Scott Turner's trying to do because he's Scott Turner's father, right? So I think that's one of the key things that have been missing. I mean, but at this point, to what avail, right? They're not going to come in and they're not going to change the playbook. It's going to be the same playbook. It's going to be the way that they call the plays. It's going to be the way that they disseminate the information. And I think having a guy like Norv Turner in the building shows me that there's no innovation in this building. If you got to go back into the 90s and bring a guy that was good in the 90s in, that means that you have a problem. And I think that this is showing me what the Raiders need to do. They need more bright, young, and innovative minds in this building going forward, man. You know, I hope that they can bring in Bobby Slovic or they can bring in Ben Johnson, whoever the next wonderkind in the National Football League is. But to be honest with you, that is exactly what needs to happen, guys. So, guys, listen, man. In closing, man, this show has been powered by BetUS. Y'all going over there to BetUS. And like I said, man, and I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with YouTube code 150. And this show and every show has been brought to you by BetUS. Guys, I think it's time to bring the train into the train tracks. We've gone an hour. We've had a great time. We've gone over freaking the trade deadline. The Raiders were definitely losers. When you start talking about who's winners and losers, Washington, the Commanders, have shored up their defensive secondary, bringing in Marshawn Lattimore. They did great. You know, the Detroit Lions went out there, brought in Zadarius Smith. Great move for them. But when it comes to the Raiders, they stood pat. I think that they should be more proactive with trying to get some more draft capital, but we shall see. Because the Raiders cannot look like this is a complete tank job because it would piss off guys like Maxx Crosby who put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line. And AP is really fighting for his job. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So listen, to me, were the Raiders losers at the trade deadline? They didn't do anything to improve the team. They didn't do anything to make the team worse. But one reason why I think that this could be a win for the organization as a whole is because we're going to see a lot of these young players. There are going to be some changes. You're going to see a heap and helping of Cameron Richardson, and we're going to see whether or not we have pieces to build off of going into the future. But guys, I love all of you, man. We're going to get out of here. It is the bye week. It's slow motion out here, but we here for y'all, man, giving you your Raider fix, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. But and real quickly, Anthony Green, yeah, Andy Reid is from the 90s, right? But Andy Reid never stopped coaching. He continued to continuously be innovative. Norv Turner hasn't been successful on a level of a head coach like Andy Reid, bro. So to me, for you to compare Andy Reid and Norv Turner is blasphemous, and you should be unceremoniously blocked. It's like, nah, I'm kidding around, Anthony Green, man. You know you my peoples, bro. You always are welcome over here at Raider Nation Unlimited, man. But yo, man, standing pat, y'all. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, Nation Zone, man. Y'all have a great, great night. We are out of here, man. I am going to go eat with the family, man. Y'all have a great night, man. Peace.